of places like St. Louis and is going to continue to impact several states as we head into tomorrow. We could see multiple inches of rain through Michigan into the Northeast. Guess what? This is a good reminder that these tropical entities don't just impact the Southeast. They can affect us well inland, and they can be deadly. This is America's Morning Headquarters. I'm meteorologist Steph Abrams alongside meteorologist Jordan Steele and Jim Cantori. Jim, let's get to it. We still have Beryl, technically Tropical Depression Beryl, at the 5 a.m. update.
Right. It's a low pressure system.
A lot of times we think, okay, hurricanes, tropical storms, that only impacts the Southeast. Well, we've had numerous storms and remnants that have impacted areas well inland. I'm talking the Midwest and into the Northeast, and this one will do the same. Flood watches extend anywhere from Arkansas all the way up into the thumb there of Michigan. Chicago even has flood watches, a wide swath of 3 to 5 inches of rain and locally heavier amounts for us, as there's just a lot of tropical moisture with this. And this is also, what I will say is, when these systems go inland, they intertwine, they do a dance with upper level energy. That actually can squeeze out even more rain for us in a lot of places and make matters a lot worse, because you have the tropical moisture from Beryl combining with the mid-level, mid-latitude system, and that is kind of double the trouble. So look at our system here that's going to continue all the way up into Canada. Technically, it's a tropical depression right now, and it's just for us as we're a little bit farther north, but we could get some of those bigger boomers coming in too with that shield of rain as this really interacts with what's happening in a trough in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And I swear, Jim, it always makes matters worse. I think of, I'm blanking, it's not Michael, that was in North Carolina. With all that heavy rain.
Florence?
No, not Florence.
Oh, the Matthew.
Matthew, thank you. I knew it was an M name.
Okay.
And that tangled with a front.
Right.
I just saw.
Right, copious amounts of rain.
Yeah.
The good news is this is going to move.
Yeah. Inland as well, and this is why we always say these are not just coastal systems. And I've seen a lot of people who, they say, oh, I'm in Texas, it was just a Category 1, that's why I didn't leave, that's why I didn't think it was a big deal. Let this be a reminder for everyone that if you are in the eye wall of a Category 1, even a tropical storm, they are significant. So you have to keep that in mind. And this thing was strengthening on arrival. So that's something else that you have to keep in mind. So here are our current power outages. It has just been really, really tough. You can see shooting up, obviously, with that landfall early in the morning at 5 a.m. is when it made landfall, and then just explosion of power outages from there. Generators outdoors. We don't want anyone to die from a generator, from the exhaust. Candles, you don't want to do candles. That can cause a fire in your house. Someone could knock one over by accident. Watch out for those power lines, and of course, have a plan if you need, power in order to sustain your life. Here's a look at the heat alerts, and typically Houston wouldn't put heat alerts with the temperatures that we have, but because so many people are without air conditioning, they've actually put out heat alerts for our temperatures today. Now it's going to be hot and humid. Look at our dew points in the 60s, Victoria into the upper 70s, not to mention the damage into Louisiana that we had there with multiple tornadoes reported. Temperatures in the 70s, upper 70s even in some spots with those dew point temperatures. It's going to feel really rough out there. These are our highs, but remember, you throw in that humidity and it's going to feel even hotter than that. So we don't get a break in Houston for the cleanup efforts or just to survive. You were talking about temperatures there in the 90s with no air flowing through the house. It can be really, really rough. And in fact, it can be deadly. So you have to keep that in mind. Our heat index is going to be 105 in Freeport. Freeport is where we had that gust of nearly 100 miles an hour, 97 miles an hour. Houston, 100. Lake Charles, all of these areas, and even going inland, by the way, Lufkin 95, and you certainly don't get any breeze when you're away from the coastal areas. Tomorrow, now listen, I know the power crews are going to do the best that they can. Now that the winds have gone down, now that the rain is gone, they can really get out there and do some good work. So hopefully we'll be able to get you, back online fairly quickly, but it might take some time here. It is Texas. We do have temperatures in the 90s all the way through our midweek. There's really no change. It's summertime, right? So it's going to be hot. If you are headed to the coast here to cool off, watch it there, especially along the Florida Panhandle and that southern Texas coast with that high rip current, guys.